Just begin. We can cut everything after that.
Better. Okay. When I started working this piece, I was a student, so I was not ready to play it and have some short commentaries from my teacher. I really needed to work the technique and to prepare my fingers to get to explore these colors, this palette. So the first thing he said to me is that I should work like this, with a staccato, with negative reaction. On the right hand, etc. Now, the left hand, there are some chords. They were played like this, piano, and staccato very light, just with the fingers. Very simple staccato, and here the same thing. Just a little movement of the hand with the fingers, no articulation, no big movements, just very short. And the third variation was the same work with the two hands, you know. Went like this. Always with this negative reaction after the attack. And later on, he said I should play legato, but also with negative reaction. As you can see, it's very alive. It's very slow, but very alive, because the negative reaction is instantaneous relaxation of the hand and the fingers. So what happened is, inside you're very nervous, you're very active, you know. It's always explosive. What you it's instantaneous, you know, and you have to be very, very alert to be able to do this correctly. Anyway, the result is a leggero color, as it's written by the composer in the music. You know. And so on. Okay, so we can pass to the fourth variation. Here is completely different, and this is the way how Beethoven changes the colors and the technical problems and so forth. So here you have staccato in the middle voice and in the bass. There is what is written. So staccato is not like that, not the same qualities, not the same problem. So it's a finger staccato, but much less articulated. It's done with the hand, and fingers just follow this impulsion coming from the hand. It's not a finger staccato. Finger staccato is this. This is finger staccato. But here now, here movement comes from the forearm, no? So it's a totally different situation, and the left hand plays a little portando, and the result we have three qualities here. This note, and that, and this. So in fact, three colors. Now we don't play so slow then. Okay, very good. Then we pass to variation number 5. There you are. So here, this is a hand staccato. It comes from the wrist. We throw the hand like this to prepare. I'm sure when we really play it's much smaller, the movement is much shorter, you know. But to prepare, it's a work of the whole hand. But then it will be very reduced. And here the same thing. In the left hand. But here there is a special problem. It's the distance between the first note and the chords that follow. And here. See? It's very far. How do we do that? How do we solve this difficulty? We have to throw the hand. You know? Goes very fast reaction. It's a kind of a rebound, no? It's by rebound. Yeah? And when it gets here, we have 4. How to get this very, very close to each other, because it's very fast. It's a small movement from the whole arm, the forearm. And the finger should not abandon the keys, you know. We can prepare like this. It's because we have to really know where to go, have a good position, and the 3 notes should be in equal importance, all very clear. So we prepare. But when we play, we should not leave the key at all. No? There's a movement inside the keyboard. There you are. So, but the right hand goes like this. And here's legato. So we change the finger here, we replace here the finger to link. Always the same fingering. Name shows. Always this replacement of finger here to link. Here there's one more, because you're going here, and here is not linked, so you can leave and go there freely. So, problem number 1, the left hand with these chords. Problem number 2, the right hand with this first part, and then and a different color. All these things have different colors. This is one color. And here. Every time is a different color. And when we get to the end, so how do you do that? Very legato. What I used to do is even to glide. Also, it's not the same that was here. Here it's a different color. And the movement is really very legato, very linked to the keys. Sound, very, very different from the rest. Very good. Now we reach variation number 6. Here is very difficult. It is a very difficult variation because we cannot relax at all. It has to be played with a fixed hand, and even like a grip, So it's all very, very nervous, very masculine, very even aggressive. I feel a bit aggressive here, Now, how to get this? How you learn this? So, my teacher said, you play like this. There's no relaxation at all. It's a very hard, very unpleasant form, touch form. And you don't have any stability on the keyboard. You have to hold your arms and your hands outside the keyboard, and you create a kind of a new stability outside. That means stability on your arms. It's your arms that give you this kind of line, guide, that guide your movements. So you have to keep it. How do you keep? The secret is to hold your arms against your body, against your trunk. Then you have this stability. The stability comes from this. And then you can do this, no problem, because you were holding here, see? And maintain this, this very unpleasant and your body follows, see? Otherwise you lose your stability, and stability really comes from this. And then you can play as it should, as it's called to be, hard, you know, very hard. So, you see, from the beginning until now, how many different things have happened, you know, how many solicitations to your imagination, to your adaptation, you know, that your body has to act differently, your hand has to act differently, your fingers have to have different behaviors according to each one. We are just number 6, we haven't even advanced much and already so rich, so many experience, so many learning things, you know. Here comes a new one, variation number 7, very different from what just happened, very calm. Here we have this legato groups on the right hand. I try to really link, play legato the upper part, because this part we can't, but here we can. Changing fingers. So we have to work to learn how to link the octaves by using different fingerings. You can change from the 5th until the 3rd, you know. I use the 3. Or replace doing things like this. Changing 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. Here I don't need to change the fingers. Neither here. Here I do. Change fingers. Here I don't really change the fingers. Now here we have to play this very much inside the piano. Now, what did my teacher say? How should I work this? He teach me to do this. An octave that is articulated with the fingers. It's not done like this, but because in fact these fingers have to be very active, so not to glue to the key. See, it goes so fast. If you don't have this articulation, this capacity to articulate, it's going to end up just gluing to the touch, and you cannot, to the key, in fact, to the key, and you cannot advance. It will be like, these octaves have to be very, very active, and this is the only way to prepare. And then you obtain this sound. Okay, now variation number 8. Here there's a problem. Beethoven wrote it by 2, like this. But in in fact, it's not to be played like this, you know. Because, why he wrote like this? Because you cannot link. There's no way to link. So, you have to jump to reach the next one. And, but in fact, even if you jump, you have to think of the big line that puts together these two measures, the two first measures, so that you don't have this effect. It cuts completely the phrase, so that you have to be very careful. You can feel the phrase, you know, but it's still jumping. But jump in a way that's not so dry, so cut. You know? How do I do that? I jump at the last moment. Accelerate, coming from here to here. Same thing. This is the preparation, just the preparation. So that you learn to advance, so we don't feel so much of this cutting here. Yeah? There you are. And here is the same problem of the former one. This work, etc. Here there's something very, very interesting. Variation number 9. There are 3 voices. One voice that's really just doing this. That's it. The middle voice goes like this. Very repetitive. And the first voice So, what is the meaning of this, you know? We have to play this in a very dark, almost dark way. Mysterious, and these two voices are like a broom, right? And here's light, here's dark, and here's light. And it goes to the end like this. I'm playing here inside the keys with no strain, you know, just moving the fingers, controlling this movement, very indifferent, like something that I don't feel, it's just there, but no importance. And it goes like this. And this one, it's a little bit more active because the rhythm is different. So this gives a movement. This is the one, this voice is the one that gives the movement to the whole thing. So this should be a little bit more colorful, with more brilliance, a little bit more brilliance than this one. Because it's the one that's moving. Huh? And this one should sing. Huh? So usually I use a movement of the whole arm. Why? Because I don't want this note all of a sudden to go very strong, you know? So I control the weight of the arm. Lifting. Lifting, you control the weight, so you take away the weight and you can really control the sound. You are sure that you're going to control the sound until the end. Okay, so once we've done this, there comes something very, very bright, very, very accelerated. Now, here, at the end, we have to play very much into the bottom of the keys, with practically no articulation at all. And we have to really rest the arm on these notes. And so on. Because this way you have an effect, you know, an effect of something very, very nervous, very anxious. You have to give this this feeling, you have to pass this feeling. Otherwise it's going to be just like an exercise. I've heard many people, and then it comes. There's no expression, there's no life to the piece, no? So if you want to give really a fire, this fire that you can feel here, no? Then you can play something alive, you know? And this hand is a hand that's really saying something. Not just a hand, no character, nothing. No. Here, this hand, it's a hand that is almost dangerous, a dangerous hand that's trying to say something very brutal, very, very angry, very rageous. So, and then it goes to the following one that has the opposite situation. It's the right hand that's going to do. So the only way to get this effect is to play very much inside the key, and with weight, using your weight. No? Otherwise it's going to be superficial. This is not Beethoven, this is not music, it's just, I don't know, an exercise. I've heard this many times played this way, but really there's no life, there's no music. To get something alive, you have to really... something that holds to the end, goes all the way. And the right hand, etc. until the end, and then comes variation number 12, totally another world. That leads to this. Bon, here we have the theme that comes back in the left hand. But completely transformed. It's another world all of a sudden. Since the variation number 12, it's so calm, so dignified, so noble. It prepares for this one. Yeah, here already is the theme also. It's going to come on the left hand of the next. But here, we have decided not to do a normal, not to use a normal touch form. Normal touch form could be... yeah? Okay, but I was looking for something different because there's something mysterious about this. That after all this explosion of revolt or whatever it was, it comes this peace. Yeah? And then from this piece, you are still in the same movement. With the theme coming to the left hand now. Exactly how it was on the right hand of the former variation. So we decided to use a very unusual form of touch form. That means it's a hand that has probably no character, gives an impression of no character, no will. Lazy hand, a hand really no character at all, just it's like something that's abandoned itself. You know? And the left hand of it. fingers. So they lay on the keyboard like this. They just lay there. And we move the hand on the arm. And the fingers are always laying there, abandoned. They abandon themselves, they abandon to the will of the arm. It's the arm that has the will now. The arm that's moving. The hand and the fingers. Because the fingers don't do anything. They just abandon themselves and they are there. And the arm is here, working. You see? And here, sure. But you're not going to play this very colorful because of this environment here, you know? This environment here is asking for something that can marry it, no? So the left hand also doesn't have much character, but it comes out very beautifully because it's a totally new color, absolutely new color, and a color that you don't hear very often in normal piano playing. And here it passes to the next variation in thirds. Sure, most of the people that I've seen and that I have heard, they play etc. I could play like that, but I don't want to play like that. Why? Because I'm coming from variation 12, 13. That is a very special hand, you know, very special sound, completely abandoned. So I'm going to play this also with an abandoned hand. It's going to be a staccato completely different because it has no real character. It goes like. It's played with an abandoned hand also. It's the arm that's playing. So it's a new color, something new. Nobody plays like this. So I was trying to bring something new and to this music to give it more interest and to renew it. So that's why I use this kind of touch form for these two variations. Then comes variation 15. It's very, very emotional. Maybe it's the most, almost romantic part of the piece. So we are here. From the arm, from the elbow, from outside inside. Not only to link, sure it has to be linked, but also because it gives a bass, a deep bass to what's happening there. So we have a good bass for the made with the whole hand, with a movement from the whole hand. It should be worked like this. As you can see, it is staccato but with negative reaction, so it doesn't stay. It's not this. It's really different. The hand's much more relaxed because it's just a staccato with no fixation. The hand's abandoned also. We throw the hand like this. So there is no fixation anywhere. Somehow it's very light. It's very light. It's not deep. It's not very expressive. Just. Now here the difficulty is the rhythmic. Here we have these triads on here. Now, what is the difficulty? When you play this variation, you have to play thinking that the bass is the first note of what's happening in the right hand. If you don't think of this, this is the only way to play this rhythm correctly, because you have this bass here. The only way to put them together with a correct rhythm. Okay, so
Maria, maybe we do a break here.
Yeah.
It's nearly an hour.
Yeah.
And we're in variation 17, or what is the next?
17,
So it's
so
exactly the middle.
Yeah.
So I will transform this to the computer.
I don't know if you're liking it.